Okay, so everybody wants to know the key or the keys to life. Well, one of the keys is to be grateful, to be humble, but gratitude is a huge part of life and a huge part of feeling good about yourself. So you're here on my channel, The Lucky Cripple. So I'm going to give you a little bit of an introduction to me and why gratitude is so important. So I was diagnosed with something called Limb Girdle Muscular Dystrophy about 10 years ago, 2010. So before that, I was an athlete. I was in the military. You know, I was a big guy. I was a personal trainer. I was a bouncer. You know, I was basically able to do whatever I wanted to do physically. And then I was out of the blue. I started to have weakness. I started to have muscle weakness, and I would stumble, and I would, I didn't know what was going on. I thought I had bad knees. So eventually I went into the doctor and I got these nerve tests done, and they diagnosed me with this muscular dystrophy, which, first part of gratitude is it could have been ALS. So it was either, best case scenario is it's just a tumor, which we can remove, and then you'll be fine. Middle ground is you have something similar to what you have, which is it's going to affect your life, but you're still going to be functional and you're not going to die. And worst case was ALS, which is usually fatal, and it's usually fatal within a few years. So that was my first introduction to being grateful physically, because up till this point I'd been able to do whatever I wanted to do physically. And they told me it was a progressive disease, and that they didn't say these words, but progressive muscle weakness, meaning eventually probably in a wheelchair. So that was 10 years ago, and that was when I was 33 at the time. Now I'm 44. So here I am. I'm still mobile. I'm still walking around, and I've done a lot of different things in this last decade. But it was so important to remain grateful for life and to remain grateful for everything that I had and everything that I could have and could do for the future. And so I think one of the problems people have in life is they don't have enough gratitude, they don't have enough humility, and they don't understand all the gifts that they've been given. So when we break down gratitude on that level, I'm grateful that I can still walk. I'm grateful that I'm still mobile. I'm grateful that I can move around. So how many of you are grateful on that kind of granular level? Not very many, I would imagine, because you've always had it. So when you've always had something, it's harder to be grateful for it. But when you start to have that kind of gratitude for life and for what you can do, it's amazing how much your life changes and how much your attitude changes. And so I think one of the big problems we have culturally and societally, particularly here in the West, in America, is that we're not grateful enough for everything that we have. We don't appreciate being able to get up in the morning, being mobile, having food to eat, having a roof over our heads, and it causes us a lot of problems. So we end up focusing on minor details, and it drives us crazy, instead of being able to focus on all the things that we have and all the things that are available to us and that we're capable of doing. And it's a big issue, and it's something that we can choose. Gratitude is always a choice. So we can always choose to be grateful, we can always choose to be humble, but it is a choice. And it's one of the keys to life and to happiness and to relationships and to everything else that we want.